Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy Cyber Monday to all of you. I'm here in the Big Apple, New York City, for a couple more days, so please don't mind my mobile studio. I will be back, I think, Wednesday midday in Los Angeles. In the meantime, this is the best that I can do, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, we got a couple pieces of content coming your way today. Maybe three. We'll have to see if there's any breaking news. We've got Caelynn and Dean. They always make some random news. Dean does a good job of kind of staying in the Bachelor zeitgeist. Is that a term? Should we create that term? Dean, on his podcast with Jared, fellow Rhode Islander, mentioned that he says if Caelynn wants to get married, she better get down on a knee. And I don't hate it. We'll discuss. Ladies, what do you guys think? Women proposing? It's one of those things. I think at some point it could reach critical mass, but it's still so taboo in this weird old school. Like, right, we've pushed for equality across so many different platforms, but when it comes to engagements, it's like we'll get into it. One study says that men are open to the idea of having women propose, but I'm not saying I have a different opinion. I just don't think that we're there as a society. Whether or not it should be the right thing or not, I don't think we'll talk about it. Leave a comment. Maybe you propose to your now husband or whatever. So I'd love to hear from you. Cyber Mondays today, where you can buy a bunch of stuff you don't need online, but you could also look at this toy drive we have. Can you believe this, folks? This is incredible. We raised $5,700 over the weekend since Friday. Congratulations to you guys. I can't possibly read all the donations. Maybe I'll make a complete video at the end of this reading everybody's donation, but from $1 to $500, I think $500 was our biggest donation. I'll have to see if there's any other ones, but just incredible. We're well on our way to 10,000. Again, this toy drive helps kids in need all over the country in underprivileged communities. So we don't, this is only people that live in the United States can donate right now. We're still working to find out. So hold on to your donation money if you're international, and we'll find a solution if you want to donate. But anyway, thank you so much for that. Link in the description if you want to check it out. All right, let's get into the Dean and Caelynn Miller Keys story here. And also, I've got a stand-up show tomorrow night in Brooklyn at 8 p.m. That's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. at Crystal Lake, I believe it's called. Hit me up on Instagram at DNeals for more information, where I'll be promoting the show. That will be a free show. It's at a bar. It's a fun time. And then tonight, if you like late night, Monday night, 9:30 p.m., I'll be at Greenwich Village Comedy Club, and I have a link to free tickets for that if you would like to come and laugh at that show. A lot of Bachelor Nation came out to the show last night, so thank you guys so much. It was nice to meet some of the people out there. Shout out to all of you guys that came out and had a beer with us after. Why Bachelor Nation's Dean Unglert told Caelynn she should propose to him. Is a proposal in Dean and Caelynn's future? According to her, they're going to engage within the next year. So, if it's weird, it's one thing to announce an engagement. It's another thing to announce a deadline before you get engaged. It's like, all right, maybe don't put the pressure on yourself like that. So this is what Dean said with his podcast co-host Jared on Help, I Suck at Dating. My question is anyone listening to this podcast? I don't know, maybe. Do you guys listen to it? There's so many Bachelor podcasts. Maybe it's good. I don't know. So this is what Dean said. As far as the government's concerned, no being they're not married. But as far as our hearts are concerned, yes. That's what poor guys like to say. Listen, I've been strapped for cash. No, we're not married, but in our hearts we are. And it's like, but do you have a ring and a marriage license? No. Caelynn. So then Caelynn leans over and she goes, we'll be engaged by 2022. Trust me. Or in 2022, something like that. So clearly Dean didn't even remember what Caelynn said, but she put on that friendly timer like, we'll be married by the end of this year. And the clock starts now. And then she just has one of those medieval rice, sand timers she pours over like they're in The Wizard of Oz. All right. I said, so while the timing is a bit hazy, their whole relationship's a bit hazy. They're just hotboxing their van. So is who's doing the proposing. He said, I don't know if she's speaking for me or if she's saying that she's going to propose to me. I made it pretty clear to her. I was like, if you really want to get married, you should be the one proposing to me. So I think she's got something in the works for that. Now, I think it's different to embrace women proposing to men than saying, if she really wants it, why doesn't she get down on a knee? It's like, yikes. That's like saying, if she really wants to have sex, it's like, okay, it takes two to tango. You guys got to both kind of be into it. Of course, he could just be, making light and having fun. But we know he's got sort of an unorthodox way of dealing with his relationships, kind of just saying like, we're not making labels. We don't say love. It's like, do you guys like each other? What are you doing? Why are you with each other? But then again, as we all know, not to be tough on Dean, we all come from imprints from our past. When Dean was on The Bachelorette, his dad was a little bit zany, a little bit out there, kind of a recluse. It's like they do a number on you. When you don't see love in a proper, traditional marriage, when you don't see that growing up, you don't trust the process. And why should you? I mean, the show's a joke when it comes to the rate at which people stay together. It's just, I don't know. It works when it works and it doesn't when it doesn't. And we don't have a great success rate when it comes to the institution of marriage. I will say, I think the longer you wait and don't rush into things, the closer you'll find a partner that you're super compatible with. But, sometimes people will be like, hey, I found my partner at 18, we're happy, and that's that. And that's fine too. Everyone's on a different path. If a proposal from either side is looming, it makes sense considering what they've been up to as of late. One of the negatives about going to all of these weddings, Dean quipped, is it gets your girlfriend in a mood to get married. Bro, you're talking to me. I get it. We've said this every time. And then when your friends start having babies, when you can have a baby, they need a play date. Johnny needs a play date. It's like, listen, all right, we're pulling the goalie. We're going to make it happen. I tweeted this yesterday. Husbands describing the wedding planning process to me like they went to war. It may cost you an arm and a leg, but you'll be a stronger man when you make it to the other side. The women always describe the wedding planning process like, you're going to be a princess. Everyone's going to love you. It's just like weird, white-laced cosplay. But they never describe the part where they developed, a Xanax and Adderall addiction. I'm looking at you, Deborah. Okay? All right, so Dean's obviously kidding, but there's always truth. There's always truth to humor when he's saying that everyone's trying to get them married. That's what you do. You go to a wedding. When do you next? Nick Vial, and then when you gonna propose? It's always like who's next on the list of things. It's a cult. It's a multi-level marketing. It's a pyramid scheme. All right, quit trying to get everyone married. Maybe they're happy being single. He said, give us 12, 13 months, and we'll have something a little more formal on the books. Okay, now we just. Like, there's nothing less sexy than saying we'll have something on the books. Honey, you want to go hook up tonight and bump Harrison's? Yeah, we can put something on the books. It's like, maybe not. Maybe don't do that. So here's a quick article on women proposing. Look, I'm all for it. I was talking to someone the other day, a lesbian friend of mine. We were talking, this is why I love stand-up comedy. People of all different ethnic backgrounds and different sexual orientations. And they were saying how they made their own last name. Her and her wife made their own last name. And I was like, well, when you're dealing with traditional marriages, like I'm not asking my fiance to take my last name. But when it comes to who proposes to who's taking whose last name, it's not just about doing what you want. It's like if society's not there. So say Caelynn does propose to Dean and he says yes, and it's like great and all this. Then you got to answer to all the people that aren't as woke or aren't as progressive as you are. They're like, oh man, you couldn't get down on any. It would just be like relentless. So I think a lot of men don't want the women to propose because of dealing with all those external forces. And then people go, oh, who cares? That's toxic masculinity. And he goes, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. People don't want to deal with the progress because then they got to deal with other people, whatever. Do you guys get my point? So when I read this article on brides.com, which I love, I'm gonna push back on some of this survey that they have here. Times are a-changing. The dating site Match.com recently found that 95% of men would be up for women making the first move, like going in for a kiss or asking for a phone number. That's a little different than a proposal. And we're seeing a similar attitude shift when it comes to proposals. Surprisingly, in a survey of 500 men, Glamour found that 70% would be psyched if a woman proposed. I can't disagree with, I would love to survey 500 men that I know. I really would. So we're definitely progressing in our collective view, but obviously 70% of women in heterosexual couples still aren't doing the asking. but maybe proposing for many the ultimate romantic gesture and so long considered a masculine move is going to be the final hurdle. As it becomes more acceptable and more common for women to make other first moves, proposing might not be far behind. Again, my viewpoint is going to sound archaic because I think anyone should ask anyone. It's like asking someone on a date. A woman can ask a guy on a date, or whatever sexual preference two guys, whatever the case may be, you can ask each other on a date by all means. But we don't see women proposing to men in a way where they said 70% would be okay for now. I think that stat's garbage. Some women are leading the charge, and let's not forget that some women are already doing it. I realized I was going to ask Pascal to marry me when he was on holiday and I was home alone looking after the cats, missing him, said Sophie, who proposed to her boyfriend. I thought I should probably wait, but I knew I wouldn't. I'm far too impatient. I flew out to meet him at his parents' house in France, and I bit the words back for days. On the last night, I wrote "Marry me, Pascal" in my fanciest, most calligraphic handwriting and gave it to him under the stars in the French countryside. He was totally bewildered, as it was a few years ahead of his schedule, but it made perfect sense to both of us. If you want what you want, why wait? If you and your partner really have a partnership, you probably know that you're on the same page. It's as much your decision as his. I mean, look, like I said, I'll reiterate it one more time because, nothing breeds negative comments like taking a strong opinion when my audience is 93% women. I'd love to hear what you have to think. Do you think you would think less of a guy if he was asking you to propose? And do you think you would propose and expect it to be something that your friends and family think was a good move? You know what I mean? As far as power dynamics go, I love the idea because I don't like the idea of a man asking a woman to be a part of that the whole handing over of the ring. I get it. It's like, I said, yes, the ring's beautiful, this and that. I think the idea of exchanging property and monetary value is a little controlling, but that's kind of where we're at. So I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I've got more content coming your way. We have a Hannah Brown story coming up next where she says something was off with Colton Underwood. Gee, you wonder? We'll have that story coming up and a few others. And in the meantime, you can go to the link below. Toys for Tots, Marines Toys for Tots, and let's see if we can get this up to maybe $7,000, $8,000 today. And again, if you want to check out my stand-up comedy, I will be all over New York City for the next few days, and you can go check out that. Thanks again to everyone who supported live stand-up last night. I really appreciate seeing you all, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye, everybody.